Hello, beautiful souls in the bridal fashion world. I'm Evgenia Shimanov, the designer of Studio Levana, and today we are in a podcast for bridal entrepreneurs and stylists. We are going to talk today about the vibes, the trends, anything behind the scenes of the bridal fashion world. We are together with Erica from Solutions Bridal from Orlando, Florida. Hi, Erica.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm super good. I'm super excited about this podcast. We are going to talk about optimizations and personalization in bridal. So my first question, how did you go about opening your boutique?
So we actually ended up purchasing an existing boutique.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So the store opened in 2002, and in 2017, I'd been a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, and my husband wasn't happy with his job, and he said the nicest thing you could say. He said, "I would love to work together. I want to do something with you."
So Solutions Bridal is just about personalization, right?
We do only made to order gowns. So our favorite thing that we do is customization. We do so much of it. Our brides come in and every day they say, I have found so many dresses that I like, but it's not just perfect. I like the top of this or the bottom of that, or I can't find anything that fits what exactly I'm envisioning, or I don't want to wear what my friend wore. Like all my friends wore this kind of dress and I don't want to wear anything like that.
Yeah.
So we really love getting in there and getting our hands dirty with like, how do we make that happen, right? Like, how can we translate your vision into the reality of this dress?
How do you ensure that your stylists really know how to do that all? I know that you are working on the sales floor and
Absolutely.
And the bride is the happiest bride if she meets you, but there are a lot of stylists, right? And stylists sometimes change. How do you ensure that they know how to show the bride the perfect version of what she's going to get?
So I am on the sales floor a lot, and it's my favorite place to be because it gets me away from the day-to-day of business ownership. I just get lost in it because I love getting to be able to really connect with somebody, and it's a detective. Like I'm a detective. I'm trying to piece out. It's a puzzle that I'm trying to put together of what you're saying you love and what I know I have and how I can make this all come together to be your perfect vision. And so when I have a new staff or new designers or new gowns, I'm very involved. I am listening. Even if I'm not in the appointment, I'm always listening. And if a bride is asking for a particular customization and I know that stylist isn't comfortable with it, I'll come on in and join and help show how that's going to help.
We can feel that. We can feel that from your orders. We feel that your stylists know what they do because you can communicate those customizations really easily. I don't think we've ever had any problems with customizations. No. I don't remember that.
No.
Right?
Yeah, I think the fact that you don't ever say no, it really helps. There's never been a no to a customization. When we're like, hey, can you just make this in this lace? Like I need Chloe, but in the Valaris lace, but with no sparkle on the Valaris lace. Sure, of course, absolutely. Yeah, we can, and I need a sleeve on that as well. So it's really fun to be able to make that happen. And I know a lot of brides it's hard for them to visualize
definitely
what that's going to look like. And so we do our best to show, and that's what we work on with our stylists is how do you show this? How do you work with the corset?
Yeah.
We do a lot of practice with the corset before they're allowed to be alone with the corset.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
That corset is magic though. Magic. And when it's, it takes a lot of time and it's hard on the fingers. So when we have a day full of Studio Levana brides, my bridal callus, it feels it at the end of the day and my hands are tired. But we have happy brides who felt really good and really special. There's nothing like that Studio Levana corset in anything.
Your bridal stylists are really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
How much time it takes to transfer that knowledge to the stylist?
So I always tell them, because people ask me all the time when we're hiring, how long will it be before I'm, taking brides by myself? Yeah, like what's that look like? And the answer is it's flexible for everybody. So it depends on how how open you are to feedback. It depends on how quickly you retain the information. It depends on how much time we have to really go over it. If we're super busy, then sometimes we have a little less time and it's a little more shadowing to get the knowledge versus actually sitting there and going over it. But it's really important to us to make sure that when a stylist is with a bride, that she can answer any question independently.
Yes.
And if she doesn't know the answer to that question, that she feels fully confident to say, I'm not quite sure about that. Let me go and ask. Answering without knowing the answer is never
good.
Never good. It's never good. So
brides feel it.
Absolutely. I want to prevent the fire before we're having to put it out later on.
You have experience.
Yeah. And I think that comes from having been new to an existing business that was up and running when we got there. Is we made mistakes. And we
are old people.
Yeah, absolutely. You learn from those mistakes. And it's a lesson I tell my kids and I try to impart on my team as well, is that if a mistake is made, own up to it, admit it. I made this mistake. Here's how I've learned from it and how I know I'm never going to do it again.
Why did you decide to open, a plus size niche to your boutique? I believe it wasn't from the very start.
No. So there's one plus size store in Florida that focuses on it, which is fantastic. And then we've got a really large collection of plus size samples. So we have, at any given time, 40 to 45. We have a trunk show, even more. So it's not a small sampling. What we heard when people would come in is they weren't finding it, and they weren't finding it with us either. We were having samples up to a size 20, and that's not enough. No. A size 20 really isn't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a street size 16, which is, standard.
If you're just a little bit above it.
Right.
That's it.
That's standard. That's not plus size even remotely. And so we were finding people walking in the door and we couldn't accommodate, and it's heartbreaking. We need a plus size store. And I said, I can't, I want to do it, but I can't open a whole separate location. Yeah. And she said, nobody needs to open a separate location. Somebody just needs to lean into it. And it's what gave me the impetus and kind of the push to say, we're going to do this because it's what we need. And somebody, that I respect in the industry has said to me, somebody needs to just lean into this. And so we decided to do it. And we wanted to do it in a way that was different than we had seen otherwise. So how do we differentiate ourselves? Our collection is called Limitless. And so we call it Limitless because every gown in our Limitless collection is made to measure, which means size options are limitless. Right? There is no, when you call and say, what's the largest you can order me? Limitless. It's going to be made to your measurements. And what we also find is that when you have a made-to-measure dress, people don't get unhappy with the size on their ticket. It feels terrible. So we wanted to make sure that experience of feeling beautiful and incredible and like you cannot wait to put this on again extended throughout the entire process and didn't get, knocked down.
I've seen that one boutique made a size on the tag. Beautiful.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I always tell people, because we do made to measure, especially with Studio Levana, customizations are easy to do.
Yes.
Because they're making a pattern for you every time they're making the dress.
We never use the standard pattern. Every bride will get her own pattern with her own size and with her own customizations.
Yeah.
And all of these come actually through me.
Yeah.
If my staff cannot give the answer to specific customization, I will always check the pattern.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so every time there's customization, you get the designer looking at it, which is so important. But when I introduce Studio Levana to brides as we're going through, I always say, I address customizations in the beginning of every sit down we do. As I will say, if you want to adjust something, that's totally possible with the Studio Levana gown specifically. Because they're making a pattern for you every single time, making, raising a neckline, changing the shape of, the skirt or, changing material. It's so easy for them to do because they're making it custom for you every single time.
It's just such a joy to work with a boutique that loves customizations.
Oh, good.
For us, for us, standard gowns are okay, but the most fun is when you receive a gown with this long list of customizations, and
Oh,
then you
okay.
receive something really different, and you look at it, and I've never envisioned my gown like that.
That makes me happy because I always wonder if when we do that, you feel like we're changing your vision
No,
so much that
never,
it's not what
never.
you want it to be.
No, I think it's really interesting. That's what makes our work interesting. So I have a question about the affordability of customizations. How do you make sure that the gown that you sell to a bride are affordable, the brides are on budget,
Yeah.
including, let's say, customizations?
So I always like to ask the person who's paying for the dress. So I never ask a budget in front of the whole group because money's such a sensitive thing.
Yes.
So I will always ask who's paying for the gown, and then I will take that person aside and say, where are you comfortable in terms of price point? And then I give them a couple of options. So and if they say 2,000, I say, okay, is there any wiggle room? Sure, there's some wiggle room. Great. What don't you want me to go over? And so then you kind of get the real budget. Like they'd like to be at 2,000, but they can go to 3,000 if absolutely necessary. Studio Levana customizations are incredibly affordable for the kind of customizations that we're doing. So it makes it really easy to do that because raising a neckline is really minimal and like $100 or something. It's really such a minimal cost to make it exactly what you want. So we find ourselves able to really work easily within somebody's budget, even if they do have a budget on the lower end of what we typically sell. We can usually still customize, especially with Studio Levana, and get it within the range. It also depends on how much of a priority that customization.
What is your recommendation for brides? How much time would you recommend them to have before the wedding when they come to you?
As soon as they're ready. I think that's the important thing is you have to be right. So say you're 2 years out, but you're ready, just buy the dress. If you don't want to continue shopping and you feel like this is it, this is the one, be done. Call it a day. You don't have to worry about that. But if you're a year out, it is time to get serious. And if you're not ready yet, get ready because you're potentially going to run into things like rush fees. Not only a rush fee, if it's even available, you may now have fewer options because say you like a designer who's a 9-month lead time and you're 6 months out. You're running out of time. You don't have time. And now your options are limited based on the fact that you waited. So some people just don't have the time because they are planning shorter weddings. They aren't planning a year long, 2 years long. But you don't want to go past a year if you can avoid it, I think, because you want to give there to be time to make the dresses.
And you want to have time for alterations,
Time for alterations.
And what about the veils and accessories?
Veils and accessories are so fun. But even those need some time. So a lot of people want to personalize in terms of customizations. They want to personalize. They want to put their name on a veil, or they want to get it embroidered, or they want to make it longer.
The same lace of the gown.
Exactly. They want it to be their own, and they want it to be special. And so that takes time. So with veils and accessories, you want to give it 12, 16 weeks as well. So it's not one of those things that you can, in some cases, at your final fitting, decide on your veil. But maybe you're buying the one off the rack. Maybe it has a rip in it. So give yourself time. Give yourself time on everything. Please, for everybody's sake.
Your best advice for the brides.
Do what feels right for you. This is your wedding. It's you and your partner's wedding at the end of the day. It is nobody else's wedding. Do what works for you when it comes to where you're getting married, how you're getting married, what you're getting married in. Make sure it feels uniquely you and that you're going to be happy with it at the end of the day, that you're going to be happy with it in 20 years, in 30
You're going
years.
to look at those pictures, right?
And feel like yourself and be happy with those decisions that you made because that's who it's about. It's about you and your partner on wedding day, doing what feels right for you and joining, your family together in a way that feels good. So I just want people to know when they come to see us that you are in good hands. I want you to trust. I want you to let go and let the process happen. Trust your stylist. Let us pull things that are going to be outside the box. And maybe you hate it and that's okay. But you got to try something interesting and see something different. But maybe you love it and it's not at all what you thought it was going to be. And it's what you end up finding that you love, that you want to be married in. But if nothing else, you found some interesting things. And then just give yourself up to the process. If you find it and you're ready to say yes, say yes.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks.
And that was a fantastic podcast. Thank you so much for the time. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.